Yes, it is. Why? Because it's always a good day when we acquire another toddler walking on Sunshine Singer to join our. I don't even know whose name it is. The
3-year-old Milo.
No, well, the first one we already have.
Oh.
But I suspect we could put a choir together.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Right, her.
It's the Stephanie Miller Show. I'm walking on sunshine.
Wow.
Well, I'm walking on sunshine. Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna feel good. Ow.
Choo, 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 choo.
Nicey.
Yeah. Say hi, Stephanie Miller.
Hi, Stephanie Miller.
Hi. All right, we forgot. Now see how ungrateful I am. I've forgotten entirely what her name
You're
is.
terribly ungrateful.
All right, but we haven't. You know why? Because toddlers are a dime a dozen, and we have another one.
Yeah.
As you said, this is 3-year-old Milo from Pittsburgh.
That's right.
I'm walking on sunshine. Yo-yo.
Okay. Aw.
Yeah.
That was almost like
His father was
almost Michael McDonald's character.
Yeah. His father was. They were sitting at the kitchen table, and all of a sudden he started singing that because they listened to the show every morning.
Hi, Milo.
Oh.
You're goodbye. Goodbye, but you're handsome and romantic. I treat toddlers and dogs the same.
Handsome.
They're just. My dogs are toddlers with fur.
Yeah, that bordered on creepy.
Yeah.
What you said about him.
Okay. Oh, by the way.
What?
I think we might need to run our side effects of the Stephanie Miller Show because somebody has that one too. Besides their toddlers bursting into song. Hang on, just talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, Lord, are you okay?
Oh, there's only one of you. That's right. She's not here today.
No.
Oh, okay, here it is. Billy writes about Stephanie Miller Show listening hazard. Steph, starting to notice some effects of watching and listening to the Stephanie Miller Show for over 2 years now. My wife is starting to look at me funny when I say to our new rescue puppy, "You're so handsome." A small price to pay to be part of the smartest and sexiest listeners in talk radio. Billy in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And he's suffering a lot. Do we have the legal disclaimer?
Yeah, we do.
All right, good.
Warning. Listeners of the Stephanie Miller Show have been known to suffer serious side effects, including but not limited to rickets, rabies, scabies, eczema, the heartbreak of psoriasis, hemorrhoids, hematomas, heebie-jeebies, gingivitis, laryngitis, halitosis, expialidocious, projectile diarrhea, Epstein-Barr, Creutzfeldt-Jakob, Steinberg, Flavin, undescended testicles, distended ovaries, and exploding uvula syndrome. Consult your doctor if you are pregnant, awake, breathing, or have eaten within 12 hours. Some settling may have occurred. Do not use near open flame. Seek immediate medical attention if ingested. Do not induce vomiting.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Okay. All right, big show today. Cece Goldwater next hour, and Jackie Schechner live in studio, hour number 3, and right out of the box, here he comes.
Carl.
Carl Frisch. Bullfightstrategies.com. Good morning, Carl Frisch.
Good morning. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa. I'm walking on.
Okay. Oh, you are as, you know what? You were here live in studio, and you are as adorable as a toddler. I think of you as an overgrown toddler, in fact.
Look what I can do. I try.
You succeed.
Goodbye. Carl, big gay news, by the way, right out of the box. You retweeted, our friend Joe My God.
Yep.
We're winning
Joe
Florida.
Jervis is his real name. Yeah.
We're winning Florida from the bottom to the top, literally. First Key West, then Miami, then Fort Lauderdale, and today Palm Beach. So that's the fourth.
Meant by that tweet.
Pardon me?
The court cases. I initially thought when I retweeted it meant something else entirely.
Oh, right. Uh-huh.
But
you thought we had another
many
Santorum
court cases
surge
in Florida.
Pardon me?
We've won many court cases in Florida at
Yes,
this
we have.
point.
Yes, so that's the fourth Florida judge that has struck down a marriage equality ban. How come this is going county by county in Florida? This is like I haven't seen this in other states.
Because it's Florida, I'm guessing.
Okay, because
Florida can't do anything normal.
Right.
I mean, that's my initial guess. But I think maybe it's because of where people are bringing their... I know that one of the cases is a probate court case.
Oh.
Right.
I guess that's local, so...
Well,
okay.
One of them we covered. It's also the first lesbian breakup case, which I think is actually
never recorded in history.
Right, I think...
Yeah, lesbians never break
right,
up.
don't I know it? Carl, my
How are
point...
they going to get their 6th free U-Haul rental if they don't break up?
Exactly. Carl, what was I going to say? No, I was saying I think this is actually the biggest step in equality because it's proving that we can screw it up just as much as straights. This is actually a couple not wanting to get married but wanting the right to divorce, right? Because they were married in Vermont.
Here's the
Right.
deal. People get
And one of them is a cheating slut, from what I'm told.
People get divorced all the time.
Allegedly.
And maybe she wanted to go to a billiards tournament in Atlanta. Who knows? But people get divorced all the time, and gay people should be able to get divorced too. And they shouldn't have to fly to a state just because their own state won't do it for them.
Right. By the way, welcome to Stereotypes Are Us this morning. I will have you know I've never rented a U-Haul nor played billiards.
Oh,
I'm not even sure I know what a billiards is.
speaking of that, did you see that Emoji has a whole bunch of new emojis and even gay and lesbian emojis, and one of them is a U-Haul truck?
Aren't all
Seriously.
emojis gay or lesbian?
Pretty much.
I actually lied. I have played billiards, but I have not rented a U-Haul. So, all right. Wait, you know what? That's interesting.
What?
Because sometimes I have wanted to send a gay emoji, and there's only the guy and girl with the little heads together with a heart.
Oh, there's girl and guy and guy.
Not on mine.
Yeah.
All right, you'll have to show me later.
Okay. Well, I think it's going to, with your new software update, it's going to come.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah.
you know me, I tend to over-emoticon anyway.
Yes, you do.
Sometimes I send only
I've
emoticons.
just drawn them and then taken a picture and sent that.
Because that's so efficient.
Right. I just took my art supplies with me.
I think this is what emoticons have actually reduced us to being like sublingual, because I sometimes I only respond in emoticons.
Right.
They're the modern cave painting.
Yeah.
Okay. The other, and before we get on to regular politics, other big gay news. Target has finally come out in support of gay marriage in a court filing on Tuesday, finally putting an end to years of dodging the subject. It's the the amicus brief,
Yes.
Carl, or friend of the court, friend with benefits of brief of the court. They signed an amicus brief. It's the Federal Appeals Court in Chicago, right? Joining other big companies that have taken a stand for marriage equality. The case deals with issues in Wisconsin and Indiana, two states where lower courts have struck down gay marriage bans. So they've joined now, right? Apple, Nike, Facebook, in openly backing.
Well, and you remember Target had some controversy several years ago when they put money behind a severely anti-gay politician, and they ate a lot of crow over it, and the LGBT community raked them over the fires, and they had to backtrack and apologize and announce that they had changed their policies on how they would choose to get behind candidates. So this, I think, is part of their evolution, and I think it's right on target. So.
Hi, see what you did there.
That's funny.
I couldn't believe that anyone that had the Mizrahi collection would not have been an early advocate of marriage equality, but that's just me. Carl, so what was I going to say? So anyway, let's turn to other politics. Rand Paul, or as we call him, Run Paul, ran away from the Dreamer, and she spoke out about it.
Great video if you haven't seen it.
Oh, it's great.
Go to YouTube and watch it.
Just the shirt alone, any gay man will be horrified by the shirt alone. And by the way, my listeners have entirely too much free time. They did a lot of research. That shirt does not come in man version. That is a youth shirt. Because he is tiny.
He is very tiny. And
also, if you see the picture, he has the tiniest feet I've ever seen. They're tinier than Tom DeLay's. So cute.
I'm pretty sure it came with his hair.
Anyway, but it's just all of this between him and Steve King, and who knows, whatever the assorted racist Republican of the day, it's not going to help them with the Latino vote, either in the midterms or the next presidential, do you think?
No, and, at first when Steve King told those Dreamers that they spoke really good English, I thought he was talking to Rand Paul and giving him sort of a compliment and a pat on the head. It doesn't help them in the slightest.
Well,
the
first of all,
allow these yahoos to be the face of their party, the worse it's going to be for them, and the harder it's going to be for them to win over generations of these growing demographics. And remember, the Republican autopsy that they did after 2012, this was the basis of the problem that they solved for themselves, that demographics that are growing hate Republicans.
Right.
This is no way to help them like you.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, just you mentioned Steve King, but I mean, just that video of him repeatedly saying to her, "You speak English, right? You understand English?" When she's clearly speaking to him in English, and graduated from what, Arizona State or whatever. I mean, it just it says all you need to say, right?
Well, I mean, it also shows him to be the liar that he is. The idea that he has never insulted illegal immigrants that are not drug dealers is preposterous.
Oh, by the way, someone has an answer on the Florida court system. What's happening with marriage equality there? Gerald in Tampa for an edition of WTF in Florida. Hi, Gerald.
Yeah. This is your official gay process server of the
That's right.
Okay.
I
Let
remember
me
you.
process that for a moment. Okay. Go ahead.
Hey, what it is, Florida is divided into 20 circuits, and depending on the size of the county, there may be 2 or 3, 4 or 5 counties in a circuit.
Gotcha.
I live in Tampa. The county I'm in is a circuit by itself.
Okay.
And so when they bring these suits, they bring them in the county or in the circuit rather that, if I was going to sue for marriage equality, I would have to sue here in Hillsborough County.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So it's a particular legal quirk of Florida.
Yeah, but we do have a court of appeals, and then you go all the way up to the Supreme Court. And I'm kind of watching Pam Bondi, who is our Attorney General, and I've got this vision of a boat shaped like Florida that keeps springing leaks that say marriage equality.
Yeah.
And she keeps trying to cover them up, and she's losing.
And she said some heinous things about gay people, if I remember correctly.
In her brief.
And she's, she's worried about us compromising marriage, and I think she's been married or divorced 3 times now.
Awesome. Nicely done.
I think that they're doing a great job just by themselves.
All right. So it's a big gay circuit party is what you're saying, is your explanation of the Florida court
The
system.
gay circuit party,
All right.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, honey. All right. See, there you go, Carl. We ask here, and instantly people know right out there.
So it's related to a white party is what he said, right?
Exactly. That's
Something like that.
exactly. There's something about her trying to fill holes that I didn't even know. But anyway, I think we get the idea.
Nothing can fill the hole in her heart.
That's right, Carl.
And Carl, you were saying that what was she saying about gays?
She basically threw in everything in the kitchen sink in her brief opposing marriage equality.
Yeah.
That gay people are bad parents, they're not stable,
Right.
It's a choice, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then when she was called on it, because she's not really...
And she's 3 times divorced, correct?
Yeah, and let's be clear,
yeah.
she's not really an attorney general. I mean, she has the title in name only. She wasn't elected by the people as attorney general. She's appointed by the governor, so she's kind of not very good at her job.
And that's the thing, is a lot of these old chestnuts. I mean, don't they just smell moldier and moldier? It smells like a bag of diapers lately. That one, the gays can't, whatever.
And this is a young woman. I mean,
Yeah.
The idea that she actually believes these things, and you really get the sense that she doesn't, and that she's just playing the part of a Republican elected official that she saw on television one day.
Yeah.
She backtracked. She said that she was compelled to defend the state's position.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time before she finds herself on the wrong side of history.
She's the Marissa Hargitay of jurisprudence. I don't know what that meant. All right, Carl, I love
Mariska.
It's funny. Somebody she saw on TV. She's just playing the role. She probably doesn't even believe it. All right, Carl Frisch, you are more delightful than a toddler.
I appreciate that.
All right. I love you. I'll see you next week. All right.
Thanks, Carl.
Goodbye. Have fun at Chuck E. Cheese. All right. 19 minutes after the hour. 19 minutes. By the way, I am unstable. It would be a bad parent. I'm just saying, but it's just me.
Right.
Okay, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Sorry. 25 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEPH1 the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Mama's memory's starting to go. I apologize for the thing I just said that we're not going to share. Okay. What? 1-800-STEPH1 the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Jackie Schechner, who hopefully will be wearing short shorts again. There's a lot of, the Twitterverse is all a Twitter.
She's still single, so she's probably going to wear the short shorts.
Yeah. And she's got the highlights in the hair, right?
Yep.
Whatever. She said that her hairdresser said, sweetheart, you're single. Let's work it. Let's go blonde.
Yeah,
Shorter shorts. Okay. Hey, who saw this? Did you read Ann Coulter's piece? I hate to bring it up. Yes, as May Lee's mom would say, on behalf of all of us. We need to get the other one with the words in it, because I don't know what the Korean words are. I'm disgust.
I don't either. I don't think we even asked her last time,
but
and we threatened to.
Anyway, we sent Korean words of disgust your way.
Kimchi.
No, it is not kimchi. Okay, Can I have some sort of music that will help this go down? Because I'm just warning you right now, it's going to make you mad. Ebola doc's condition downgraded to idiotic. This would be a piece criticizing the
Ebola doctor.
The Ebola doctor.
Who ran into the burning house of Western Africa to try and help people who had Ebola.
With the Christian, he's not the right kind of Christian.
No.
And culture's
she says that.
And this is like echoed by whatever you said, Donald Trump. They said don't let him back in, blah, 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 blah. She writes, I wonder how I'm just letting the music soothe me for a minute. All right. I wonder how the Ebola doctor feels now that his humanitarian trip has cost a Christian charity much more than any services he rendered. Because that's what it's all about, is money. Because that's what Jesus mostly said, is that it's really all about money. Do not ever try to help the poor or the sick.
And how does she know exactly how many people he helped before he contracted the Ebola virus?
No, wait. This gets worse. She says, what was the point? Okay. I'll let you fill in the answers there in your head. Okay. Whatever good Dr. Kent Brantley did in Liberia has now been overwhelmed by the more than $2 million already paid by the Christian charity Samaritan's Purse just to fly him and his nurse home in separate Gulfstream jets, specially equipped with medical tents, and to care for them at one of America's premier hospitals. This may be the first real-world demonstration of the economics of Obamacare. Right, because this is a typical case.
She tied this to Obamacare?
Right, yeah, this would be a typical healthcare case for an average. This has absolutely
Franklin Graham has said that he's more than happy to pay for the care of these. His doctor.
Okay, she goes on. There's little danger of an Ebola plague breaking loose from the treatment of these two Americans at Emory University Hospital.
Right.
But why do we have to deal with this at all? Why did Dr. Brantley have to go to Africa? The very first...
She said from the comfy Connecticut compound.
Right, let me just get through this.
Oh, my God.
I know. See, did I say why we need this music? The very first risk factor listed by the Mayo Clinic for Ebola, an incurable disease with a 90% fatality rate, is travel to Africa. Can't anyone serve Christ in America anymore? America, the most powerful, influential nation on earth, is in a pitched battle for its soul. She goes on to talk about things that are wrong, including a power-mad president has thrown approximately 10% of all Americans off their health insurance. The rest of you to come. Okay, I'm not going to comment. I'm just going to, okay. If Dr. Brantley had practiced at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles and turned one single Hollywood power broker to Christ, he would have done more good for the entire world than anything he'd accomplished in a century spent in Liberia. Ebola kills only the body. The virus of spiritual bankruptcy and moral decadence, spread by so many Hollywood movies, infects the world. Your thoughts? Next on The Stephanie Miller Show.
What?
It is The Stephanie Miller Show. I cannot believe you turned down my request during commercial break.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not doing that.
I think Fred needs his anal glands expressed.
No.
He's doing that motion where it looks like he's, the air. Yeah, I think there's something going on back there. Nathan, you can take care of that, right? You're the newest one here. Okay, 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number, toll free.
I would have no idea how to express an anal gland.
Also during the commercial break? It's easy. Okay, I was reading the Ann Coulter piece before the break. Ebola doc's condition downgraded to idiotic.
Yes. She called him an idiot for helping people.
Right, he's serving the wrong people. Jesus would only want him to help American.
And then she blamed him getting the Ebola virus on Obamacare.
Right. Well, actually, no. She said the trip may be bringing him home may be the first real-world demonstration of the economics of Obamacare.
Gotcha.
In that it's such a common occurrance that an American gets Ebola and needs to be flown back in whatever. Okay. Anyways, the last thing I didn't read is which explains why American Christians go on mission trips to these disease-ridden cesspools. They're tired of fighting the culture war in the U.S., tired of being called homophobes, racists, sexists, and bigots. Okay. Well, I think only the people that are actually homophobes, racist, sexist, and bigots are actually called that. Yeah. Okay. So she's calling the Ebola doctor an idiot while he recuperates at Emory Hospital.
Yeah.
From doing exactly what Jesus
doing
said.
the Lord's work.
Right. Okay. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number. Lori in Wisconsin has some thoughts. Hi, Lori.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My comment about this is that people like Ann Coulter and those like her and what she wrote is exactly why so many people around the world hate Americans. Because we're narcissistic, and all we think about is ourselves.
Yep.
Even before her comment, I was saying to my husband 3 or 4 days ago, listening to the news, all you heard was, oh, my God, what is it going to do to America, rather than what's it doing in Africa to those folks.
Yeah.
Right.
We are such a narcissistic country, and that's why people dislike us.
Well, I mean, and look, we're all human, Lori. So it's not. I don't think that that's like generally narcissistic to go, oh, I hope we don't have an Ebola outbreak in the U.S. But you're absolutely right. You know, rather than focusing on. First of all, the first thing I focus on is he's a way better person than I am.
Yes.
Or I'm sure a lot of people are.
Right.
You know, and just the whole thing about, offering the serum, the vaccine to someone else instead of himself. I mean, if he's not an example of what Jesus was talking about, I don't know who is, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But, I mean, anyway, go ahead.
Maybe the growing voices like Ann Coulter in America are a sign that Jesus has kind of put us aside because he lost hope in us.
But, Lori, she wears a giant cross whenever she's on television. I'm sure that means...
Well, that makes all the difference.
Right. But no, you make it... We played a Donald Trump soundbite yesterday, where he's like, we shouldn't let these people back in if they get Ebola. And I thought, there's an example of someone, do you think he's ever had a thought or done a thing for another person besides himself, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, honey.
Chris's point about this doctor was the proverbial fireman running into the fire.
Yeah.
Right.
So... but these are the same folks who think, our fire department should be privatized and you can't pay your fee for the fire department. Oh, well, you're Hustlebird now.
Right. Oh, and by the way, this this paragraph I read that she said if Dr. Brantley had practiced at Cedars-Sinai in L.A. and turned one single Hollywood power broker to Christ, he would have done more for the entire world than he could what he could accomplish in a century in Liberia. Really? Like, that's a doctor's job at Cedars-Sinai to proselytize one,
Cedars-Sinai, a Jewish hospital.
I'm
not sure that would go over well there.
By the way, and the other thing is just people using this to fearmonger, and it is not even a dog whistle of racism. When people going, oh, maybe the kids at the border have Ebola. It's like the whole thing is like, oh, the brown people disease. It's what they've been already fearmongering about, and this was like sort of what's the word, like convenient for them, like, oh. Right. Ebola. Now we can throw that into the border crisis. The president yesterday talking about Ebola.
Despite the fact that we have to take this very seriously, it is important to remind ourselves this is not an airborne disease. This is one that can be controlled and contained very effectively if we use the right protocols.
Right. I mean, that's the thing that I think needed to be said in the midst of this the fear-mongering. By the way, a nurse, somebody wrote a piece, I'm the head nurse at Emory. This is why we wanted to bring the Ebola patients to the U.S. These patients will benefit, not threaten the country. Yeah. And going to Lori's point, like, are we a narcissistic country? Yes. But is there a reasonable fear that you think, oh, wow, I hope that doesn't spread in America, because it is horrible.
Sure, that's a concern.
It's particularly, has anyone alerted Dustin Hoffman? I mean, seriously. Or anyone else in outbreak? They may need to. I wonder if they still have the hazmat suits. I'm just saying. Yeah. But she says those fears are unfounded, reflect a lack of knowledge about Ebola and our ability to safely manage and contain it. Emory University Hospital has units created specifically for these types of highly infectious patients, and our staff is thoroughly trained in infection control procedures and protocols. But beyond that, the public alarm overlooks the foundational mission of the U.S. medical system. The purpose of any hospital is to care for the ill and advance knowledge about human health. At Emory, our education, research, dedication, and focus on quality, essentially everything we do is in preparation to handle these types of cases. When Dr. Brantley got there, I remember there were workers saying, we've trained for this for like 12 years. This is what we do. Okay. Jim in Kentucky, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Jim.
Good morning, Stephanie Miller.
Good morning, sir.
I I stopped to gas my car up the other day, and they had installed some new gas pumps, and each gas pump has a TV screen. And guess what was showing on each TV screen?
Fox News, really?
Fox News.
Ew.
Awesome.
I'm not going to say the name of the convenience store, but I did speed away very quickly.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you, honey. So speaking of fear-mongering and the border, so the dreamer that confronted Steve King and Rand Paul, and the ridiculously dressed Rand Paul,
The clownishly dressed.
Pardon me?
The clownishly dressed.
Like an ice cream. What do we call that? An ice cream, ice cream truck driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say that is the first time I've seen a grown man in a what do you call it? Multicolored striped shirt.
Whatever.
And I'm telling you, listeners did extensive research. It only comes in youth. That is not a fully grown man's shirt.
It's the first time I've seen a Farrell's uniform outside of Farrell's.
Right? Exactly. I felt like asking him for extra sprinkles. Okay, so the dreamer, Erica Andiola, am I saying that right? She responded to the the viral internet video everybody's talking about that appeared. I think it did more than appear to show Run Paul, as we call him, dashing away from her as she confronted he and Steve King on his on the immigration. Here she is.
If he's really trying to run for office in 2016 for the presidential office, I think that he needs to think about it twice before he starts showing up with Steve King in places. And I don't know if Rand Paul actually learned the lesson from Mitt Romney, but Mitt Romney lost his election with a Latino vote because he didn't support the DREAM Act and because he believed in self-deportation. And another thing is, if he really wants to run, he's going to have to face this issue. It's a tough issue, but reality is that if you have someone who is actually affected by it, try to talk to you. You don't run away. You actually sit there and actually try to talk.
Right, like Steve King. You just stay there and be as condescending as possible and continually demand to know whether you speak English when he is speaking English with you. All right.
Steve King's kind of dumb.
Jim in Virginia, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Jim.
Hello, Stephanie. I'm actually from the Hampton Roads area. It's right next to Norfolk. So
That's right.
I may be a right-wing wacko, but I do enjoy your show.
Thank you.
You keep me somewhat focused.
Good.
And I will say I learned on right-wing radio that the Ebola virus is one of the easiest severe viruses or disease, what have you, to control. The patients die so quickly, so it's hard to spread, and it is like very intimate contact to spread it. It's not like
it's not airborne, right?
You're across the lake, yes. So I do want things done. I do want people to.
By the way, it's not airborne like the disease of right-wing radio, which that is spread through the air.
But what I'm saying is everyone's not evil on both sides. So if we can kind of somehow work together, because we do have to work together. That's unfortunate of government. But for all those right-wing wackos that think we're bringing Ebola in to kill the country, to bring the population down, to make room for Latinos, that's incorrect. So
okay.
We'll
see. We've reached common ground, and I will say there not every. What did you say that not everyone on both sides is? What did you say?
Are evil.
Evil. Right.
There are some people on each side that we can work with.
Right, but you tend to have more evil douches on your side, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, see, common ground.
I have a point. Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's a good point. And then I hear someone call in and say, "You're trying to take my guns, and you want Miss Alaska Crazy Voice to run everything." It's like, pump the brakes. Now you just lost everybody.
I love you, Jim.
I don't know.
I love
someone
you.
Intelligent.
I love you, and I mean that in a nonpartisan, non-gay way. I love you.
And see, those of us from Hampton Roads can get along.
See, we've done it for years.
That was magical.
I'm a major from there, so not really, but I mean it's cool,
Yeah, I'm from Hampton, so there you go.
There you go. All right. See, I got out of that relationship before it went sour. See, I'm learning. Okay, 40. Did he? We have that on tape.
We do.
He admitted they have more evil douches on their side.
Yeah. Well, You know.
All right. I think he brought up. Oh, by the way, gun. I have a particularly irritating gun stack.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that next. 45 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. Yeah, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. Nurse Jackie in hour number 3. Jackie Schechter.
Yay.
Jackie's Healthcare Corner. 1-800-STEP-12. The phone number. Toll free from anywhere. Oh, a brief love letter before we go to our yes.
All right.
From Abby, dear Steph and assorted mookage. As a Steph head and regular podcast listener. I get almost all my news and current affairs from you and Rachel Maddow.
Okay.
However, as I've been at art camp for the past month, different from band camp.
Very different. Mm-hmm. There are no flutes at art camp.
No. For the past month, cut off from Rachel and tragically unable to listen to you during the podcast hacking ordeal. Thank God that's over.
Yeah.
I lost about 2 weeks' worth of regular news. Then, as soon as my podcast is fixed, I come back to you and find the Middle East is blowing itself up. World War III is about to start over Russia. Planes are being shot out of the sky. We're all going to die of Ebola, and Billy from Texas has been banned from the show. It is too much for my fragile teenage brain to handle. Regretfully, Abby, the official teenage sculptor of the Stephanie Miller Show, Bling. P.S. As neither a Jew or a Palestinian, I would like to inform you that I consider you both a Zionist puppet, a terrorist sympathizer, and a wishy-washy coward afraid of taking sides, and I'm highly offended by all three. I haven't gotten much hate mail from that third category, so I thank you for that.
All right. Well, you know.
All right. Nick in Washington, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Stephanie. I'm leaving in 45 minutes for a trip for a month in Europe, so pardon me if I talk fast, but I'm trying to wonder how I should represent the United States while I'm over there. Is there still a rule against apologies, or do I just represent my country by being myself and being a
just pretend you're Canadian,
reasonable lib? Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, that's a great idea.
No, that was our cover during the Bush administration. Just say it from somewhere else. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's a beautiful idea. I think I'm gonna go with it. I don't like apologizing for my country, and I feel like particularly.
I was kidding. You don't need to apologize for now that Obama's president. You don't need to apologize. All right.
Well, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.
Have a good trip.
I appreciate it.
All right. Be careful.
I think he was trying to trick you.
I think he was, but I just didn't. I just ignored it.
Yeah, he did. You got out of there without a scratch. So they're good.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I'm getting a little smarter. All right. Oh, by the way, this is I saw on the Twitterverse, very funny. Someone named Ryan Carr tweeted, "Am I a racist if I feel uncomfortable about a guy with a turban on my plane? Because this isn't okay with me." Let's see. Ashish Pal, somebody tweeted back, "Ugh, I know what you mean. I get really uncomfortable whenever I see a white man walk into a movie theater or an elementary school." Nicely done, sir.
Aha.
Nicely done, sir.
Quite often, people who wear turbans are Sikhs from India.
Right.
They're not Arabic.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. By the by, so this latest, this is another WTF in Florida meets gun stack. This is what your stand your ground laws have brought you. Did you hear about this latest? No charges against a gunman who fled scene after shooting victim 10 times who was walking away. This is not a joke. 2 guys got into a fist fight at a Walmart parking lot, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
There were several witnesses who say that the victim was walking away afterwards to his car when the other guy shot him after retrieving a handgun. Mr. Brown was shot 10 times at fairly close range, both in the back while he was walking away, and when he turned towards the other guy after being shot, apparently pleading with him to stop. The other guy then fled the scene. When he was apprehended, he did what all murderers now do in Florida, claim he was in fear for his life. Yeah. The prosecutor agreed.
Oh, boy.
The prosecutor's statement said the Stand Your Ground statute makes no exception to the immunity because Brown may have been walking away from Freemer, the other guy, when deadly force was used.
Absolutely insane.
So, you remember when we talked extensively about the Trayvon Martin case?
Yes.
So, they had a chance to fix this after the Trayvon Martin death.
But they did not.
The legislature refused. Rick Scott, the governor, appointed a quote-unquote panel stacked with the law's proponents who thought it was, everything's fine. Nothing more to see here. They would not even tweak it to say if you are the one who originally caused the violence, you can't then say you feared for your life. Right now in Florida, a man can stalk a woman, attack her, and if she knees him in the groin or throws a rock at him, the man can shoot her and claim that he was in fear of his life.
That's right.
This is how insane this is. In this case, the prosecutor opined that maybe the victim was walking away to retrieve a gun. Okay. So if he thought that, why wouldn't he at least let the case go to trial?
Right.
I mean, this is the insanity of these gun laws, and this is what we said after the Trayvon Martin case. This is going to be open season now.
Yep.
Because,
open season on everybody in Florida.
This is where a prosecutor now speculates maybe he was going to get a gun, so it's okay to shoot him in the back 10 times and you can get off scot-free. Oh, look at this. There is an open carry kids book.
I saw that.
Wowee. We need some festive music for this. Open carry advocates find a niche for a pro-gun children's book. If ever there's a niche that needs to be filled, it's a more pro-gun children's books.
And as John Oliver said this weekend, the father on the cover of that book, what's he doing with his right hand? He looks a little creepy. He looks a little child molesterish.
Yeah, a little pervy, a little creepy.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 open carry advocates have teamed up to write My Parents Open Carry, a children's book aimed at educating kids about the Second Amendment and self-defense. The authors said, before writing this, we looked for pro-gun children's books. We couldn't find any.
I'm sure the NRA has some.
They are the co-founders of Michigan Open Carry.
I'm sure the NRA has some that, without putting out that pervy book.
What happens if I'm just curious, like open carry guy is in like a Chipotle in Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't you just shoot him with an assault weapon because you fear for your life?
Yeah.
Right. Where does this all end?
Because he's brandishing a gun.
Yes, exactly. In other children's book news, wow, that's an actual picture. That's actually Rush Limbaugh on a horse dressed like George Washington. In case you
Yeah, the founding fathers
would be some more variety in your children's books.
The founding fathers would be horrified by someone like Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, and by the way, his head is bigger than the horse, that part's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Or the horse's ass. South Carolina teacher teaching history from Rush Limbaugh's children's books. Right. It was almost a given that some tea partying school teacher somewhere would look at Rush Limbaugh's creepy self-fan fiction children's books and tell themselves, yes, this is clearly something I should be teaching my 3rd grade class.
Computer says yes.
Whoever posted this said, for those of you blessedly unfamiliar with Rush Limbaugh's children's books, they feature Rush Limbaugh himself playing the role of a brave Paul Revere-ish fellow who visits various brave moments in brave American history with the help of his time-traveling talking horse who apparently farts rainbow-colored wormholes or something.
Something.
I'm not sure the person that posted this read them, but that's close enough. Oh, and he also points out, yes, Rush Limbaugh's head is illustrated in the books as being about the size of a whiskey barrel, so at least they got that part right. It is about the size of a whiskey barrel.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a little variety for you in your kids' books. 58 minutes after the hour, right back on
I'll have my kids read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah.
Right back. You kids? Why wasn't I told? Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show, 6 minutes after the hour. Would you like to share what you just said about Max?
No.
All right, never mind.
What? I didn't remember what I said. Mr. Gator Pants with gorilla lips?
Yes, that's right. Good boy. Because Mama had chicken. So he's laying like an alligator in a moat, waiting for something to fall.
Oh, my God. I'm really surprised I haven't hurled yet from all of this
You're immune now
baby
to my dog talk. Okay, 1-800-STEPH1, the phone number, toll-free from anywhere. Jackie Scheckner, hopefully in short shorts in hour number 3. And tomorrow, hopefully also in short shorts, because they're having a whore-off, May Lee.
They're both single.
And working it on Mama's show.
They both have gorgeous gams.
Yeah, they do. They're both hot, hot, hot. But May was at the San Francisco Beyonce Jay-Z concert last night.
Yeah.
So we'll get a review of that. And why was she there? Because she clicked on the wrong thing because she's old.
She meant to buy tickets for
LA,
here,
where she lives.
And she got tickets in San Francisco. I don't know how you do that, but whatever.
But she can also tell us about this story. Beyonce. Back to you and me.
The head of the agency.
Right. She's also queen of the universe and now controls the weather.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this?
I did hear about that because my partner lives in San Francisco, and he heard about it. Yeah.
He heard the concert for free.
Yeah, he heard that and his dog farting.
Okay, the point is, thanks to a common weather phenomenon, which we assume that Beyonce and the Bajancy controls.
Absolutely.
It's an atmospheric quirk that is responsible for, all kinds of, I guess they're saying.
Yeah, it's called an inversion layer.
Yes.
Where a layer of air
Sometimes
gets
you hear
trapped
this,
underneath
right.
a cap of
it's known as an inversion, the
colder
weather
air.
phenomenon. Right. So, a layer of warmer air sits on top of a cooler air. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, but what they're saying is you could hear, oh, look, there's a diagram.
Yes, it creates a layer of something that sound bounces off of. And
sound waves back to the earth. So in this case, the sound from last night's concert hit the cap, reflected back into the city,
right,
serenading thousands for free.
Or annoying thousands.
You think she would have found a way to monetize that?
I'm sure she controls it.
She is. Beh. Okay. All right. So
but yeah, I did hear about that. That was like.
But now it doesn't make May special that she was in San Francisco and heard the concert because everyone did.
This is true. But she got to see the spectacle.
But we'll ask her about the marital tension up close, what it looked like.
And we'll see if she has all of her fingertips.
Okay. Exactly. And whether she's wearing a face net. Like Beyonce. Okay. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Oh, Dave in California, real quick.
Okay.
Hello, Dave.
Hi, Stephanie. I
Hi.
love your guys' show.
Thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to mention that the first open carry law was in Dallas or in Texas, and the first day, two guys got in a fender bender. One guy got out with his gun. The other guy got out with his gun, and the one guy shot the other and killed him over a fender bender.
Oh, God.
And that's what kind of these open carry laws do.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention real quick is I listen to Sirius XM, and they have as part of one of their sponsors one of these be part of this insurance conglomerate to help you if you get into a shooting with a stand your ground case.
Oh.
And I just think that's kind of ironic on a pay for play TV radio station, that one of their few sponsors happens to be this crowd of people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you, honey. A love letter. By the way, in case you didn't, what was it? Oh no, Tuesday. Jim Ward, in the role of Sid Flegelman, killed his wife Sadie. Not since he killed Boo Boo. Well, Sarah Palin shot Boo Boo to death.
Right.
In a Yogi Bear sketch.
Yeah.
Right. Has there been such, consternation on the interwebs? Subject line, oi, not Sadie.
If I remember correctly, he threw her off the back of a Sea-Doo into Biscayne Bay.
Oh, because she caught him giving another guy a job, as Jackie Schechner would say?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I don't think we got many details. We just offhandedly asked him, because Sid was commenting on the crisis in Gaza.
Yeah.
And we said, how's Sadie? He said, she went too far.
She got chatty.
So we know, in order to learn what actually happened to Sadie.
It got dark.
Right.
It got dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julie writes, poor Sadie, went too far, one too many times. I did what I could. I went to StephanieMiller.com and support the show tab where I hit the donate button.
Yay.
To ante up $10 a month to bring Jim/Sid back on the show. Because now we need an explanation for what happened to Sadie.
Can we wait through the weekend? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I would go to that donate button right now. Also, she said the funniest thing that Carlos ever said was the whole talking about my nether regions yesterday on the show.
Being dusty.
Ground Zero. I don't know. There's a lot of that got dark as well.
Ground Zero?
He said a bunch of things I don't remember.
Ooh.
He goes very dark.
That was dark. We warned people that he would go dark in the last segment.
Right. And he did.
Yes, and he did.
He did not disappoint. Yeah. Julie also giving me a heads up on the Twitterverse that Oprah tweeted yesterday, learn to give without any reason. Steph, time to call your gal Oprah. Hi, Oprah. Remember me? It's Stephanie Miller. I saw on Twitter that you're interested in giving without any reason. You know what would be a perfect Jim Dandy place to go? The donate button. StephanieMiller.com.
Right there on the home page.
She's probably dying to know what happened to Sadie. Okay. And Scott writes of the videocast, another way to give.
Absolutely.
Podcast, videocast. Steph, I'm so glad for your videocast, and some bastard shut off my internet cable for no reason temporarily. I got free Wi-Fi, and I downloaded the Stephcast and the videocast. Hooray!
StephanieMiller.com as well.
There you go. There you go. All right. Chris in Minneapolis, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Hi. Good. Go ahead.
I just want to ask you why you don't talk about the good things that you talk about the bad things where there's some shooting, got some guys saying that.
Oh, I don't talk about the good things about shootings?
Because two guys got open carry.
Right. You're right. I do not talk about the sunny side of people shooting each other nearly enough.
Well, I talk about the time where the convenience store clerk was able to fend off an armed robber.
Oh, that time. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's not good?
Yeah, no, that time certainly counteracts the thousands of people shot every year.
Kids that have been killed.
Kids that shoot each other.
Yeah.
Did you know that toddlers killed more people than terrorists did in America last year?
Did what?
Toddlers killed more Americans than terrorists did last year through accidental gun shootings.
The accident. So
they don't count.
Those
dead kids.
Yeah, those dead kids don't count. Okay.
Knives kill more people than guns. Why don't you talk about that?
That is, first of all, not true. That's not true. And number two, that is a whataboutist argument that has nothing to do with guns.
Such thing, mass knivings don't happen all that often.
I feel bad for him now.
Mm-hmm. Poor guy. Poor little fella.
Oh, gosh, he was feeling plucky. Call the show. All right. I mentioned last hour Ann Coulter's delightful piece. Wait, what was the name of it again? Oh, Ebola doc's condition downgraded to idiotic. Because I guess he was an idiot who was trying to help the wrong people.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't helping Americans. So
right.
He was an idiot.
Right.
He wasn't trying to convert people at Cedars.
Can I want to read a piece by a different kind of American.
Okay.
That is not Ann Coulter. I mentioned this last hour. I'm the head nurse at Emory. This is why we wanted to bring the Ebola patients to the U.S. These patients will benefit, not threaten the country. First of all, the caller last hour was talking about that we're so narcissistic that everybody's like, oh, I hope we don't get it, rather than... Anyway, she makes a lot of good points about people who responded viscerally on social media fearing we risk spreading Ebola to the United States. Those fears are unfounded and reflect a lack of knowledge. Could you turn my box down? Thank you. Those fears are unfounded and reflect a lack of knowledge about Ebola and our ability to safely manage it and contain it, which is why it is just horrific that some Republicans and Fox News, it's just egregious to fearmonger about this stuff in the first place and throw it into the border crisis and whatever. Anyway, she says, further, Americans stand to benefit from what we learn by treating these patients. Ebola won't become a threat to the general public from their presence in our facility, but the insight we gain by caring for them. Actually, you know what? This is really more of a love letter.
Okay.
It's a love letter. It's a letter about love to Americans.
Okay.
It won't become a threat to the general public from their presence in our facility, but the insight we gain by caring for them will better prepare us to treat emergent diseases that may confront the United States in the future. So there you go, America. There is something in it for you. We can also export our new knowledge to treat Ebola globally. This pathogen is part of our world, and if we want to eradicate these types of potentially fatal diseases before they reach our shores uncontrolled, we have to contribute to the global research effort. Today, diseases do not stay contained to one city, country, or even continent. More importantly, we are caring for these. Here's the most important line in here. More importantly, we are caring for these patients because it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
These Americans generously went to Africa on a humanitarian mission to help eradicate a disease that is especially deadly in countries without our healthcare infrastructure. They deserve the same selflessness from us. To refuse to care for these professionals would raise enormous questions about the ethical foundation of our profession. They have a right to come home for their care where it can be done effectively and safely. Donald Trump.
Wow.
Moron. Oh, here's what Donald Trump is doing, the humanitarian work he's doing over here. Trump sues to get his name off his failing New Jersey casinos. That's much better use of his time. Donald Trump wants his name. This is the first thing he's ever wanted his name off of.
Right.
Taken off two Atlantic City, New Jersey casinos he founded but no longer controls, saying in a lawsuit they've become so dilapidated they damage his brand. Which is so pristine. Trump's stake in Trump Entertainment Properties was wiped out when the firm filed for bankruptcy, which I think if someone has said, first time, how can you go bankrupt with a casino?
The odds always favor the house. I don't get it.
You are indeed a loser if you lose when you're the house. You loser,
wow.
loser. Dr. Brantley is a hero. You are a zero, and a loser.
Drive home in your loser bus.
Alrighty then. Bye-bye now.
All right. Loser. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Loser. All right. Thank you. 18 minutes after the hour, we roll along on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. What? Barbara Streisand has a stylist for her first Instagram picture. I want an Instagram stylist.
That photo is
natural.
Beautifully staged.
That looks natural. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
I'm just here with my white fluffy dog.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get a view of this, but that's Barbara Streisand's first Instagram picture.
Wow, that's nice. Okay. All right, 1-800-STEPH12. Did I ever tell you about the time I said, hi, Barbara, I'm Stephanie Miller, and she said, you're great? I think I've told you that story.
You've told me that
times.
a million times, yes.
I know. Did I tell you? Okay.
Uh-huh. You're great.
Thanks. Brian in Kansas, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Brian.
Oh, well, it was Michigan, actually, but...
Okay.
All right.
Hi, Brian in Michigan.
I just counted the earlier gentleman's argument about the whole, knives kill more people than guns. Okay, and Chris mentioned the mass knifing. The last mass knifing I remember was in China. And nobody died.
Right. Because they can't get guns as you can get guns here. Right.
Yeah, you swipe that knife with a gun, I bet you more people would get killed.
Yeah.
So, this guy's arguing about knives kill more people than guns. Really?
Yes. Right. Thank you. Oh, by the way, somebody called and said I'm a typical liberal coward because I hung up on him right when he was winning the argument.
Yep.
Actually, I thought sometimes I do a mercy killing of the phone line.
Kind of.
I thought that was a compassionate care kind of thing.
Yeah, because poor fella.
Sort of put him out of his misery a little bit. Okay, a little bit. A little bit. Cynthia in Sacramento. Hi, Cynthia.
Good morning.
Hi.
I did a little research before I called because I'd heard this, and it is true. The father in that book, My Parents Open Carry,
Yes.
is named Dick Strong.
Yeah, I heard that.
No, he is
I think
not.
Sam Cedar went with that yesterday. Yeah.
He is not named.
Brenda's daughter's name is Brenda Strong.
Brenda Strong was the name of the actress who played the dead woman on Desperate Housewives.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So, and for a limited time, though, if you order that book, you get a free copy of, and this is an actual book I checked, Raising Boys Feminists Will Hate.
Oh, boy. By Penis Week?
Yeah, but no, I clicked over. They also have a book on that website, Patriot Depot, something about raising strong girls, and the picture on the cover is a stiletto heel and a pistol. So there you go.
Right,
they're feminists too.
Exactly. It's the only way to be a strong woman, to wear stilettos and open carry.
Sure.
As you do. Judy in Iowa, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Judy.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to preface this with I'm one of those sad souls that lives in Iowa, and thanks to gerrymandering, Steve King is my representative.
Yeah.
And it just occurred to me that he and Rand Paul missed a wonderful opportunity with the Dreamers the other day.
Right.
Instead of engaging them, he pointed his finger and was condescending. And, little old Ranny ran away. It would have been a wonderful opportunity for them to have engaged them and find out what brought their parents here, how they got their education without being citizens.
Yes, I'm sure Steve King will mourn the loss forever of the opportunity for a helpful dialogue on immigration reform.
I mean, it's like they don't want to know. And I think it's very sad, and I'm working very hard to get him out of there.
Yeah, well, good for you. All right. Why now? And why not? By the way, Mike Huckabee chimed in.
Oh?
On the whole, he said that he has no doubt President Obama is worthy of impeachment. He was asked if he'd done anything in office worthy of impeachment, and here he is. Mike Huckabee.
There's no doubt that he's done plenty of things worthy of impeachment.
Right, like?
Now, the fact is we don't have the Senate, so either you impeached him in the House and it went to trial in the Senate, it would never even get to the floor because Harry Reid has been sitting on 357 pieces of legislation passed for the House Republicans.
Right.
So from a governmental standpoint, you're not going to see it accomplished with this Senate.
Right.
He should be impeached, but he won't be impeached.
For
so
unspecified stuff that you know. I think I don't need to say,
you
do
just
I?
know he's done some high crimes and misdemeanors.
Okay. Who said, as healthcare professionals, this is what we have trained for. People often ask why we would choose to care for such high-risk patients. For many of us, that is why we chose this occupation, to care for people in need. Every person involved in the treatment of these two patients volunteered for the assignment. At least 2 nurses canceled vacations to be part of this team. They derived satisfaction from knowing that after years of preparing for this type of case, they were able to help, to comfort, and to do it safely. The gratitude they received from the patient's family drives their efforts. Who said that?
Oh gosh, Goofy.
No, the nurse at Emory Hospital.
Okay.
Who restored my faith in humanity after Ann Coulter's piece, Ebola Doc's condition downgraded to idiotic.
Yeah.
Who said, as human beings, we all hope that if when we were in need of superior health care, our country and its top doctors would help get us better. We can either let our actions be guided by misunderstandings, fear, and self-interest, or we can lead by knowledge, science, and compassion. We can fear or we can care.
Scrooge McDuck.
No, the nurse. I gotta put her on my future wife list. What's her name? It's somewhere in for God's sake.
She wrote the article, so look for the author of the article.
This is typical of my love life. I have somewhere, my future wife is at the bottom of my dumpster. All right, I will
You probably
find it.
hawked loogies on it.
I did not hawk loogies on my future wife. We will find it. All right. And also talk to Jackie Scheckner about that.
Yeah.
Just a lot of stuff, a lot of healthcare news. And also Ann Coulter blamed Obamacare somehow for this.
For the Ebola doctor thing.
Right. Okay, as you do. 29 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number.
That was funny.
I found my future wife. I dumpster dived and found my future wife.
Yeah.
Her name is Susan Grant. She is the RN. She's chief nurse for Emory Healthcare. She's the one that wrote this piece.
Okay.
Why we wanted to bring the Ebola patients to the U.S. So they redeemed my faith in humanity after Ann Coulter's awful piece about screw the Ebola doctor, whatever.
Whatever.
Oh, by the way, President Give Me Turkey?
Yes, on Twitter.
Tweets, better future wife in the bottom of the dumpster than in the wood chipper. Thank you. Who's your friend in the wood chipper? Okay. All right, then. Andy in Delaware, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Andy.
Yes, good morning, Stephanie and everybody.
Thank you.
Listen, you were talking about these folks, these faux Christians who want to call the folks that are helping people in Africa idiots. I just want to ask, what would Jesus do? Jesus did not shy away from lepers, and leprosy, from what I understand, is a pretty damn contagious disease. So all I can say is to all you phonies out there, stuff it, okay? Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
He'll take no
Thanks.
further questions. Yeah, you really fall apart, I understand, with leprosy.
Actually, it's a misnomer that...
Too late? Or, I mean, too soon?
Body parts don't really fall off with leprosy.
Right.
I mean, parts of you are eaten away, but nothing falls off of you. That's kind of a misnomer.
All right, let's get to the douche of the day, which this is hard.
All right.
Ann Coulter is in the running. Douche of the day goes to Paul Wolfowitz.
Okay.
One of the architects of the Iraq War, of the Bush administration.
Yeah.
He said on Tuesday the U.S. won the war in Iraq. When asked, here's what's wrong with this whole piece. When asked his thoughts about the current situation in Iraq.
Why is anybody asking Paul Wolfowitz's thoughts?
Right, that's what I was saying. That's what's wrong with the whole thing. And whether the war was a mistake, do you think? He replied, we have won it in 2009. And see, then the black guy ruined it. That was our glorious victory. I was reading a piece, hey, let's wade into the Gaza conflict this morning.
Oh, God.
We've already got into gun issues.
No, we have avoided it so far. Oh.
I got my first piece of hate mail for being a wishy-washy in the middle that won't take a side.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but I was reading a piece about, polling in Israel because, I don't know. It's the same thing there. When you're using the word won about war, I guess both sides now are claiming they won this latest conflict. And, but they were saying even though most Israelis know that it just plants the seeds for the next one, and you're like, really? Is there any point in using the words won about any kind of war? It's insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, the president talking about...
I have consistently supported Israel's right to defend itself, and that includes doing what it needs to do to prevent rockets from landing on population centers, and more recently, as we learned, preventing tunnels from being dug under their territory that can be used to launch terrorist attacks.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. The polling too is, Israelis vastly supported, this, what do you call it? The whole, I don't know what this name of this latest operation was, and Netanyahu. But at the same time, they said they were skeptical of his pronouncements that they had won.
Right.
So it's just, I think it's complicated even for people that are there. And for Hamas to claim they won, you look at the body count, you're like, really? You consider that a win? I mean, but because they feel like, Israel's reputation has been tarnished and whatever reasons they're claiming they won. It's all insane. The president...
It is important to remember that Hamas acts extraordinarily irresponsibly when it is deliberately siting rocket launchers in population centers. Putting populations at risk because of that particular military strategy.
Benjamin Netanyahu is
worked very closely with him and with the U.S. administration, with President Obama throughout this operation and before. There are reports of the substance and the tone of our relationships are distorted.
We paused briefly to dive into a less controversial subject of guns again. Barry in Georgia on guns. Hello, Barry.
Hey, Stephanie.
Hi.
Love your show.
Thank you.
I was calling in to suggest instead of using the term gun control, use the term firearms modernization or modernizing firearms laws, because the Second Amendment was in, 1796?
Right, written when there were muskets.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and I said, let's just change it. Gun control just causes people to go rabid. And
you know what? Here's another idea. Instead of modernizing gun laws, how about if we make them more retro for when they applied? Why don't we go back to muskets? Right? Why don't we go back to only having the kind of guns they have when they wrote these laws? Right?
That sounds.
Or make the cost of bullets like $5,000 a bullet.
There you go.
That's what Chris Rock always says.
Right? Bullet control.
Yep.
Exactly. I just make guns a little more work intensive. You'd have to, by the time you get through all, right? If we're nothing, we're lazy Americans. Yes, we are. You have to go through all that, putting the stuff in there and
do that again.
I've never held a musket. I don't know, but you have to put the.
Looks like you're doing something through.
I was not giving a musket a job. It takes a long time, right?
Do that again.
Is there any Civil War reenactors here that can tell me how long it takes and what's involved in loading a musket?
You have to pour the stuff in,
right.
Then you have to tamp it down.
Right. By then, your anger issue may have subsided. Just be like, I got 500 channels. I don't have time for this. Okay. Benjamin Netanyahu again yesterday.
Israel deeply regrets every civilian casualty, every single one. We do not target them. We do not seek them. The people of Gaza are not our enemy. Our enemy is Hamas. Our enemy are the other terrorist organizations trying to kill our people.
All right, and one more time.
The tragedy of Gaza is that it is ruled by Hamas, a tyrannical and fanatical terror group that relishes civilian casualties. They want civilian casualties. They use them as PR fodder.
Oh, that was the other thing in the polling is now Israelis like Abbas, the Palestinian Authority.
The PLO guy?
Right. Because, they used to hate him, but now that, now that Hamas is it's like, have you ever dated somebody that's, like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
So then the next person, you're like, oh, well, compared to Hitler that I used to be dating, you're not so bad. I don't know.
Your bar drops.
I'm just saying. Right.
A little bit.
Yeah. Or then you go back and think, oh, that last person wasn't so bad because this new person is awful, right? Awful. And that's how drunk dialing happens,
Oh.
In the midst of time, you don't look so bad anymore.
Yeah, and in the midst of 17 glasses of Chardonnay.
Yes. And the fact that I just recently dated Hitler.
Yeah.
Now, you don't seem so bad. Victoria in Sacramento, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Victoria.
Oh, good morning, Miss.
Good morning.
Good morning, Captain Happy.
Hi.
Stephanie, two points. First of all, I know Jim doesn't come on till later. I miss him. And
I miss
him,
him,
I'm a
too.
liberal. I do work, so I know that's kind of weird, but I have a job thing. So I wish he could come in early.
You're not just a taker? All right. Well,
no, believe it or not.
Okay.
Definitely. Secondly, Steph, this whole thing by Ann Coulter, I mean, see you next Tuesday.
Yes.
She couldn't really
we forgot to tell you that during the commercial break after I read the Ann Coulter piece calling the Ebola doctor an idiot, we used the C word as a noun, a verb, and an adjective
Yeah.
about her. It's hard to do. Try it.
But we did it.
Yep.
I just think, don't you think she's just, I mean, that's just hideous. She couldn't really be meaning these things, could she?
Right.
Thoughts?
You know what? I don't think she does, but she knows that when she writes something completely inflammatory like this, it gets us to talk about it.
Exactly.
It gets people to read her column. It gets her more syndicated columns.
Yes,
and
I did realize that I fell into her trap once more.
And it gets her to sell more books. So, yes, she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
Specifically, what we said is she's the C is a C word in the C verse. I have never before spoken that sentence, but for her, it was worth it.
It's apt.
Okay, Charles in North Carolina, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Charles.
Hello, Stephanie.
Yeah, hello.
What you have to do with the musket is even with the mini ball, which is now called a mini ball, but
The one you have to tamp down?
Yeah, what you do is you pour in your powder, which is a black powder, gunpowder.
Okay.
And then you tamp it down. You place in a wadding, which is a piece of paper or silk cloth. And then you tamp down the bullet, or if it's a rifle musket, then it's, you have to get it to match up with the grooves and push it down.
Oh, boy.
And
I'm already taking a nap, right? Okay.
Oh, I know. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Because they were lucky counting the first shot. If your rifle was already loaded, you could do 3 rounds a minute, which means, it takes about 30 seconds if you're really quick at it to
get your musket and your ball tamped.
Yeah, you put in the ball or the mini round, and you put it in, and then you.
So wait, all that only takes 30 seconds, putting in the black powder and the ball and tamping it down.
Yeah, it takes about 30 seconds. Plus, you have to put in the percussion cap, or you have to fill the powder pan, if you're using a flintlock.
Right.
God.
And then you cock it all the way back. That's where you got the term "don't go off half cocked."
Half cocked.
Right.
Because you do a half a cock in order to put in either the mini ball or
Right. You got to do the full cock when you have the balls in place.
The full cock.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The full cock, yeah.
And basically, if you're using a musket, which had a round shot,
right,
which is where you got the term in the gun lot thing round.
Oh, right.
Basically, you were lucky to hit somebody at 50 feet.
Okay.
Because at that time, the bullet was round. Like a spear.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course, the mini ball is shaped very similar to the bullets we now have, but they were much larger.
Yeah, but who would want a mini ball?
That's the kind Rand Paul has. Okay.
And you have to watch out for. You also had to watch out for the fact that these things were between 50 caliber to up to 110 calibers. So not only were they shooting cannons from the ground, they were shooting them from the hip.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that musket information.
No problem.
All right. Appreciate it. Okay. He probably does Civil War reenactments. Good to know all of that.
He made that so dirty.
You got to get the ball. What did he say? Down. Well, you have to do the full cock on the ball because you don't.
Because you don't want to go off half cock.
No, of course not. I bet you Roger Hedgehog doesn't even know.
Cock.
Excuse me.
Roger Hedgecock.
Oh, right, the right-wing radio host. I bet you he doesn't know half that information.
I bet you doesn't either.
All right. He is not properly loaded for a Second Amendment conversation. 46 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Called a political.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 51 minutes after the hour. Jackie, just come in whenever you're ready. She's wearing a beautiful sundress, everybody. I think it's just as good as the short shorts, just to give everybody a little, visual.
Little look-see.
Little peek. Okay.
The gams are showing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Looking good. All right. She's in the toilet. She'll be right back. Okay.
I'm sure she didn't want the world to know that she was taking a dump.
I didn't say that. She's probably... Okay, stop. She's probably tinkling. She'll be right here. Okay. Oh, looky here. Brave Minnesota job creator takes brave stand against waitresses. It's another douchey boss story.
Yeah.
We talk about these with Jackie in terms of people blaming Obamacare when their boss is douchey or their insurance company's douchey. Mm-hmm. Here's a douchey boss. Good brave job creator finally taking a stand against waitresses and also the people who patronize his restaurant by adding a minimum wage fee to the bill.
Yeah.
Owners of the Oasis Cafe, dishes.
Yeah.
Charging 35-cent minimum wage fee. They say it's to offset the cost of an increased minimum wage for tipped employees. This is Minnesota's first minimum wage increase in nearly a decade. Greedy waitresses. One person on Facebook wrote, "It's Oasis's way of blaming our government for trying to set a fair minimum living wage. It's political grandstanding." Oasis owners fired back and said, thumbing my nose at the law change, you're right. Part of my thinking was to shine a light on this matter, which I truly believe is in the best interest of both my business and my employees. See? He's just trying to help them by paying them
Is that what
crap.
that is?
By paying them crap. They'd only spend it if they made more. Why, look who's here.
Hello world, here's the news that's breaking. Come on, get Jackie.
Good morning, Jackie Scheckner.
Good morning. I just realized I probably have to get a new chair dance.
Why?
Right.
Because mine's a little outdated, this thing I'm doing.
Well, so is that song. The Parker Family song is a little outdated.
She's looking magical, isn't
You
she?
are.
In her blue dress that matches her blue eyes.
I'm feeling much better. I have some sort of cough thing, and I lost my voice.
Oh, no. That seems to be going around. Cece
Goldwater had to cancel today. She has
driving back. But the great part is I went to the doctor, and he says to me, you know what I've seen going around is pertussis. And I thought, I don't know what that is. And then he explained...
He said, just pre-Ebola, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. Usually turns into Ebola.
Yeah.
On the rare chance it doesn't, you'll heal. No, it's that thing that causes whooping cough in kids.
That's right. I've seen
and
that
there's
thrown
that
around.
commercial. I don't know if it just plays here, if it plays around the country, where a mom's holding the baby, and then there's like horrible wheezing cough. And you think, that's awful. And that's apparently what this pertussis thing is.
Oh, my goodness.
He said, look, 4 to 6 weeks it'll clear up on its own, or 4 days and you can do antibiotics. And I went, let's go 4 days.
Yes, I'll take the 4 days.
Yeah.
I'm an American. Yeah. By the way, speaking of douchey insurance companies, we've talked a lot about either douchey bosses or douchey insurance companies.
That's right.
Yeah, try to blame Obamacare. This is just an unrelated, but it's an unrelated douchey insurer. Insurer pays off lawsuit with thousands in coins. Did you see this?
No.
Yeah.
Just to be douche-tastic. An insurance company settled a lawsuit with an L.A. man by dropping off buckets and buckets full of thousands of quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies.
Why?
Just to be ass bites.
Yeah.
Yeah. 76-year-old
Because the guy won the fight instead of the insurance company winning the fight.
He, during an argument over why the company had canceled his auto insurance, an agent assaulted him physically. Assaulted him physically by removing him from the office. His lawyer said there is maybe 17 buckets of coins. They probably weigh between 70 to 100 pounds apiece. It's insulting to my client. Yeah. He's 76 years old. He just had a hernia operation. Come on. Just another douche-tastic insurance company. Just making a douchey point.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, lots of good news on the Obamacare front, correct?
Yeah, there is some good news in terms of the improvements. We're cutting the rate of uninsured people in half in many states.
Yeah.
So that's the good news coming out of it. Unfortunately, the people who are opposed to health care reform, in these recent polls that have come out, are in the states that are most benefiting from the Affordable Care Act. So there's an incredible contradiction between what people are experiencing and what they're telling pollsters, which is why I'm not entirely a fan of polls.
Right. Well,
that came out wrong. You know what I mean.
This HuffPost headline says it all. In states where it's wanted, Obamacare...
You missed that or you chose to ignore it?
I chose to ignore it. Obamacare is working well.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, no kidding, right? It's from the Department of Sherlock, the news. Obamacare already making a big difference in states that actually embraced it. That's the big, and we always talked about this. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah, the difference was the states who decided not only to build either state exchanges or exchanges that were combinations of state and federal, but also the states that expanded Medicaid. And we're seeing the rate of uninsured drop significantly.
Such a shock that's so unexpected that it would work the way it was devised. Oh, and by the way, another Republican talking point bites the dust, and another one down, and another one down. Obamacare rate shock, not so much. Right? This is the other, we're getting a clearer picture of Obamacare premiums for the next year. With them, another Republican myth about the law falls. There won't be rate shock this time around. We talked about California last week, but now they're looking at a clear trend nationally. And once again, it's the same thing in the states that are resisting. Florida, where Jackie Schechtner is from. One of the outliers, Florida. Some evidence should show that Rick Scott and the Republican legislature hostility to Obamacare is resulting in higher premiums for Floridians. Florida blue, right? You know the whole. They're going to have average premium increases of 17.4%, and this is exactly they're going to say. See what's Obamacare's doing, because that's exactly what they're trying to do in these Republican states. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people need to keep in mind too. I mean, insurance premiums go up year after year. They usually go up double digits. So anytime there's some sort of discussion that the premiums are going up. Well, they're going up because they go up every year, but they're going up.
There's an inflationary thing.
They're going up in a very small percentage compared to what they usually do.
That was a pre-corner. A full Jackie Schechtner healthcare corner now. Now it starts on the Stephanie Miller Show. Oh, dear. Sorry. Baby's got the whooping cough. Okay.
Pertussis.
Jackie's got pre-Ebola. Nobody be nervous. You can't get it over the phone. Okay. 6 minutes after the hour.
I'm going to breathe on the microphone.
Great. And May Lee is going to have to talk into that tomorrow.
Yikes. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number.
You can sanitize it or whatever.
Toll free from anywhere. Oh, by the way, people are being really piggy now. They want Jackie and May on together. I think that's a sexual fantasy thing. Something's happening. I'm like, listen, people.
It's a little too much beauty.
Yeah. Oh, Travis said somebody called and wanted to compliment you on your what was it? Your mind and your looks.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And your ass.
Oh, good. Okay.
And he said, sound a little too creepy. So, I think that was probably wise.
I'm glad it didn't pass the creepy test.
Speaking of pretty friends of the Stephanie Miller Show, look at our friend Ms. Liz Fitzgerald.
She looks great.
Well, Liz Fitzgerald, Senior Director of Justice for Vets, is with the president right now.
At a bill signing, right?
Right, at the signing of the VA bill.
That's amazing.
Look at that. Pretty girl from University of Pennsylvania.
She's such a rock star.
Tridelts.
Love her.
You were both Tridelts?
Yeah, but she was in it for like a hot minute, I think.
You and Elizabeth Banks and... Okay.
And Melissa Fitzgerald.
Right? Wow.
Yeah,
right.
And actually I went to a fundraiser over the weekend, and it was a really kind of neat mini reunion of a bunch of girls that were in my sorority. They were all a little
fellow elitists?
No, exactly.
As one of our listeners called you?
They were all a couple years, a year or two older than I was, but they were so great and so sweet. And it was for the Triad Trust, my friend Brooke's organization, which helps to track the spread of AIDS in Africa and teach kids how to speak out about prevention and getting tested. And
Ann Coulter would have some thoughts about her.
Yeah, it's an amazing organization.
Did you see this?
No.
Oh, well, she didn't know what I meant. Oh, yeah. Hang on.
Well, pretty much you say Ann Coulter and I know it's bad.
Yeah.
So.
Let me just skip ahead. Hang on. Oh, she wrote this piece. Ebola doc's condition downgraded to idiotic.
Oh. That's sensitive.
Yes, he's an idiot because he's not helping the right kind of people, because he's not helping Americans. Right. She said, can't anyone serve Christ in America anymore? And that he's an idiot for doing that and for getting Ebola.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I'm glad you blame him for.
And she said it's why American Christians go on mission trips to disease-ridden cesspools, because they're tired of fighting the culture war in the U.S., tired of being called homophobes, racists, sexists, and bigots.
Isn't she the one calling people names?
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, she called him an idiot.
She said if Dr. Brantley had practiced at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles and turned one single Hollywood power broker to Christ, he would have done more good for the entire world than anything he could accomplish in a century spent in Liberia.
You know what I love about Ann Coulter? She's so Christ-like.
Yeah, well, yes, because she wears a giant cross, and that's how you know, for sure.
She's so giving.
Right. So she said what was the point of him doing that, because whatever good he did in Liberia has now been overwhelmed by the more than $2 million already paid by the Christian charity Samaritan's Purse just to fly him and his nurse home in separate Gulfstream jets, specially equipped with medical tents, and to care for them. One of America's premier hospitals, wait for it, this trip may be the first real-world demonstration of the economics of Obamacare.
How does that have anything to do with...
Right? Because it's such a typical case where you get Ebola in Africa and have to be flown home. Right.
You know, I was driving to the gym the other day, and I like to get my blood pressure high right before I work out.
Right.
I think that's the easiest way to kill myself. And I'm listening to Fox News on the radio, and they're talking about these new statistics that had come out about reducing the rate of the uninsured in many of the states. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a pretty fair report in terms of the numbers and commenting on how the states that enacted state-based exchanges or combination exchanges and Medicaid expansion were doing well. And then whoever the host of the show was, and this was daytime, this is when they claimed to be news, turned around and said, you know, so many people who lost their health insurance and now have Obamacare and they really hate it and it's really different. And just went on and on and on. And I went into my typical Obamacare is not a thing.
Right.
People don't have Obamacare. They have a private health insurance plan that
just
they
like
bought
they always
through an
did.
exchange. You know. And in my head, I'm thinking, but this is why there's so much misinformation again and again and again. It's because I think at this point the people reporting it believe the misinformation or have no problem spreading it indiscriminately. And they're talking about things that just aren't true. And if that's the only source you're getting your news, then that's what you believe is happening.
Right.
And I don't think, I mean, if you're going to say that your daytime programming is your news programming and you're just blatantly lying to your audience, it doesn't make any sense
Irresponsible.
to me. Yeah, well, yeah.
And we were
Dangerous,
talking about where do you hear all this good news about Obamacare being reported? Because we were saying that obviously in the states that have embraced it, it's working very well.
You don't hear it because Fox News has all of the other stations trained.
Right. On insurance, obviously, the numbers of uninsured way down in those states. But this is an interesting one, Jackie, we were talking about before the break. One of the outliers is Florida, your home state, where premium increases of 17.4% because Governor Scott and the legislature obviously did not. In fact, here's the important thing, because you've talked about this before. Last year, the legislature passed and Scott signed a bill that suspended the state government's ability to reject excessive premium increases. Insurance companies in Florida can get away with high rate increases because the state has stepped back. In contrast, California, that we talked about last week, has continued its vigilant oversight of insurers and given exchange managers the ability to bargain with providers. So rates here, as we said last week, will only rise on the average of just 4.2%.
Yeah, I would say this is a reminder to Florida voters and then anyone out of state who wants to give money to help support his opposition, is that Governor Scott has a vested interest in seeing the Affordable Care Act fail because he owns these clinics. He owns these urgent care clinics where people who don't have any sort of substantial health insurance or health insurance coverage can go for urgent care. But he makes money off of the Affordable Care Act failing. He's got a financial interest. On top of that, he spent $5 million plus of his own money fighting the Affordable Care Act during the fight, 2008, 2009,
You know what Floridians have an urgent need for?
What?
To get rid of Governor Scott.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But just keep in mind that anything that he's doing is in direct correlation to his own financial interests. And somebody who loses $5 million of their own money isn't going to suddenly throw up their hands and say, okay, now I'm supportive.
Right.
So I think that you need to keep in mind as you go to the polls, or if you're thinking about you're out of state and you want to kind of help get somebody better in office, to take a really close look at the Florida governor's race. Call your friends, call your family, and tell them to get out and vote, because we just need to get rid of him once and for all.
Yeah. Interesting point in here, too. The overall story here I'm reading from this latest piece is the insurers see the potential to gain market share and revenues. It's a signal from insurance companies they believe the law is here to stay and the market is stable, obviously, in a lot of these states where they're embracing it. They go on to say, adding to the evidence that insurance companies are investing in this law is the fact that a number of big insurers have decided to enter the insurance exchange after sitting out the first year. Another good sign, right? There are still plenty of tweaks that need to be made. Jackie Scheckner says that every week. For example, figuring out a way to deal with a state like Florida, which Jackie just gave you some suggestions. But it's pretty clear if there's going to be any death spiral that will destroy the law, that dashing the hopes of Tea Partiers everywhere. I mean, that was the latest thing, right? Death spiral, blah, 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 blah. Every single thing they've said has not happened.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, that, and this is what the Fox guy, was thinking about the specifics, what the Fox guy was saying is, like, people really liked their health insurance and didn't want it changed. Well, people who have health insurance through their job, they don't see the mechanics behind the scenes, right? They just get health insurance and their employer pays a majority of the premiums or some of the premiums, but they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You go out into the insurance market on your own and you see how difficult it is to get insurance, if at all. Now you don't have that barrier because if you have some sort of pre-existing condition as defined by the insurance industry, it doesn't matter anymore, right? Now you can get health insurance. These are substantial changes. This is a huge deal for people. So somebody who had insurance through their job, who had a group plan, wasn't seeing the administration hassles behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So you can say that you like your insurance, but I always say people love their health insurance until they need to use it.
Yeah.
Or they need to face it.
Right.
then, of course, it's not so fabulous.
Right.
One question for you about California, because I think I cited this piece in the LA Times when we were talking about this. They're saying that the obviously positive news on premiums here. He said the insurance guy was saying insurers were likely motivated by a November ballot initiative, Prop 45, that would give his office new authority to regulate health insurance rates. But this is the importance of regulation and why this matters to people. He said this is merely a pause in the double-digit rate increases that we've seen historically. But this is what you've been saying over and over about oversight and regulation and why this is important, right?
Yeah. Do we have time to get into it a little bit before we have to get
okay. Sure, yeah.
Because it's a little bit detailed. There is a ballot measure that's coming up in November, and I was actually discussing this at length with Anthony Wright from Health Access, who you guys had on last week.
Right.
It's a little complicated because Covered California, as an exchange entity, has the right to negotiate with insurers. So that's part of what's been bringing the cost of health insurance down within the exchanges. Now, Dave Jones, I think his name is the insurance commissioner, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Okay.
And he is in favor of this ballot measure, as is a consumer rights organization here in California, because they want him to be able to accept or reject these rate increases. And there's some discrepancy in how that bill is written or how that ballot measure is written.
Okay.
And so some advocates are saying that it may complicate the process a little bit. I personally, the more I read about it, I can't see where there would be a problem in oversight. I think giving somebody the opportunity to accept or reject rate changes would be an excellent thing for consumers.
Who accepts or rejects rate changes now?
There isn't any. Yeah, it goes to the insurance commissioner, and he has the right to review it, but he has no actual power to reject it.
He has to accept it.
Basically, the insurers can do whatever they want. So the idea of having somebody in place that says, no, you can't do that, seems like a fabulous idea. I know there are some nuances within the ballot measure itself that there are some advocacy groups that are not actively against, but certainly concerned about. And I think what it comes down to, too, is not undermining the Affordable Care Act in any way.
Well, let me just go real quick before we break, because it goes to your point all the time about being a squeaky wheel and oversight and how we can, tweak this law and make it better.
We could twerk it.
Or you could twerk it.
Not you can't twerk it because you can't twerk.
I'm too old. A separate state.
You might pull some.
Yeah.
It's this other thing we've talked about doctor choice.
Yes.
But it says a separate state investigation into consumer complaints about lack of access to doctors and misleading provider lists that you've talked about.
That's all over my website.
Is ongoing and may prompt further changes to these exchange plans. Health insurers didn't back down for the most part from their smaller networks in year 2. The companies have made some adjustments in response to the criticism from consumers and regulators. That's Jackie's squeaky wheel point.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking a look at this and hopefully expanding the networks. It's a big problem, and it comes from the insurance companies, and we just have to continue to hammer that home. This is not something that the Affordable Care Act did. It's something that the insurance companies did in reaction to the Affordable Care Act, and they said, okay, you're going to make us take everybody? Then we're going to cut down our provider networks, and how we're going to do that? We're going to pay doctors 30% less than what we're paying them now for reimbursement. Let's see if they want to join our networks now.
Well, okay.
And that's what they did to cut down on costs.
Right. The last thing in this article, unlike most other states, California actively negotiates and doesn't automatically allow every company to participate in its insurance marketplace. It also simplified the shopping process for consumers by setting standard co-pays, deductibles, and other benefits for each level of coverage. So that's why there's such variance, I think, in how Obamacare, as you say, is working state to state.
Well, that's why it's good to take a look at California in some ways and say, okay, this is what's working in California, how they've improved upon the Affordable Care Act in some ways, how it might be a good model for the rest of the country.
One of the many, many ways California is superior to Florida, and also because Jackie Schechner moved here. When she left Florida, sorry.
Let's talk about the renewal process when we have some time, too,
all right,
because
good.
I think that's super important.
People queuing up on the Jackie line. All right, 19 minutes after the hour. Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. Safe Search back on after the commercial break. All right, 24 minutes after the hour. Listen, let's get to the important issue
Apparently,
of the day.
I got a job offer from Vivid Entertainment in the break.
Okay,
I think they were just offering you a position.
Sure.
Which position?
Exactly.
I think we all
Did
know.
they ask my favorite position?
All right.
Do I get to pick my position?
Well, Vivid does have a channel on Sirius
I
XM.
do. I would do a radio show for Vivid.
Okay.
Why not?
I am
Stephanie
Miller Show,
fascinated.
where dreams come true.
No, I'm telling you, I'm fascinated. I'll talk about that stuff.
You're our Florida correspondent, or as you like to call her, Mom, is listening.
Yeah, we do. We have a Florida correspondent, Mrs. Schechner, from Florida. This is how we work here. Our
Yes.
news operation is my iPad and a text message.
Yes. Could we get to a more important subject? And that is Barbara Streisand's first Instagram photo, for which she has a stylist. That looks natural, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think she's missing the point of Instagram.
Yeah, okay. Here it is again.
It is beautiful. It is just stunning. Look at that.
That looks Insta.
Sure. She just happened to be lounging with her little fluffy white dog in
her
full hair and
stilettos.
makeup and her stilettos and
course.
fancy suit.
Yes. And
yes. Some thoughts?
Yes, this article has 10 reasons. 10 observations about Barbara Streisand's first Instagram pic.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1, her hair and face are the same color, and that color is God. More on the hair. It's the perfect taupe blonde compound. It's like a great pencil skirt or a wheat thin.
It's true.
She is sitting in a normal chair like it's a wheelbarrow. At age 72, Barbara is adopting a Miles Standish as church organist fashion sense, and I approve. Apparently, Barbara isolates a single wicker chair on her massive lawn for photo shoots. Is that a white bridge behind her? It's possible Barbara Streisand lives in a Monet painting. I think she's trying to intimidate us. I would watch a reality show about Barbara walking on that grass in those heels.
Yeah, all right. I'm guessing that all of the comments, every comment in the comment section is by a gay man. I'm just going to say.
It sounds like it.
I'm just guessing. Okay.
So I guess we're not going to see a selfie of her with no makeup anytime soon.
Oh, I don't know.
No, we leave that to Rosie O'Donnell.
No. Howard in Illinois, you're on with Jackie. Go ahead.
Hi, Steph, and greetings to the Shayna Madel. My question concerns the donut hole. The reason I ask is that my mother had ordered some medication and was told that she was in basically, I guess, in the donut hole. I thought the ACA eliminated that.
It's eliminating it year by year. It's going down. If she's in the donut hole, she'd only have to pay a smaller percentage than she would before. She shouldn't have to pay full price. They're closing it. They're closing it slowly and incrementally over the next few years. But she shouldn't have to pay full price at this point. It definitely has gone down.
Oh, all right. Nicely done. Nicely done. Very concise. Oh, yeah. You have something else.
No, I was trying to figure out where there was a really good link. I want to say it was Kaiser Family Foundation maybe or Medicare.gov that explained how the donut hole was shrinking. I may have put it on my site. If not, what I'll do after the show is put it up on my website on JackieSchechner.com. It'll give you a layout of how that's decreasing over the years.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think by 2020, if I'm not mistaken, it should be entirely gone.
Cool.
All right. Neil in South Carolina, you're on with Jackie. Go ahead. Hello, Neil.
Hi, Steph.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, go ahead.
I understand you've already been to PriceWire.com, but I came across it today and saw their headline, which is probably the next Ann Coulter piece you'll see, is that they're claiming that Obama is going to infect Christians with Ebola so as to destroy Christ.
Right. Her piece today, for those of you that just tuned in, was why the Ebola doctor's an idiot or something. I think her next piece will be what a bitch that Mother Teresa was.
Yes, that's probably coming up too.
Yes.
Also, I wanted to mention to that woman that called from Iowa who had Steve King for a congressman.
Yes.
I live in Florida, which is also bad, but I have Ted Yoho for a congressman.
Well, that Yoho. So, all right. I'm sorry.
So I'd say we're pretty close to even on that.
All right. I sympathize. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say that my mom didn't just text to say hi. She actually sent an article from the Miami Herald today, which says that the White House is refuting the news that the rates are going to go up in Florida.
To that degree, 17.4%.
Right.
Yeah.
And what it says is that both analyses are mathematically correct. They're relying on different ways to slice the Affordable Care Act numbers, right? So here's the difference. Florida officials in the report from the State Office of Insurance Regulation calculated an average for all health plans sold on the individual market. The plans sold on the exchange along with those are not. The White House is only taking a look at the plans that are sold on the exchange.
Okay. Have to do a quick break. We'll be back with more Jackie's Healthcare Corner on the Stephanie Miller Show. Enough about my weekend. Hello, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. Look at smoking hot Jackie Schechner doing her research. Is anything hotter?
Not really.
Look at her. She's doing healthcare research.
I am. I'm looking up answers to questions.
She's wearing some sort of magical black lace under her pretty blue sundress.
Free People.
Now I see why we're getting so many perps calling this morning. See?
It's a Free People bra. They're amazing. Every woman I know has it and loves it.
What's
Well,
it
not every
called?
woman, but Free People, the brand Free People.
Oh.
They make these halter bras. They're amazing. And everybody I know who's discovered them has them in like every color.
Wow.
They're fabulous.
I might have to run out and get one immediately.
They're great.
Bra talk on the Stephanie Miller Show?
Do they go under garish bike shirts like
They
this?
do. They actually make it a formal garish bike.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And meanwhile, my boobs are bigger than both of yours.
Yeah, whatever.
That's true, which is why I like the bra, because it gives me
You
a
look
nice shape.
fabulous in that.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Didn't we do bra talk at one point once
I think we
before
did.
too?
Whenever you're here, we talk about bras.
It's more. That's why Vivid Entertainment wants to offer me a job.
No, you know why? Because you say job on the air and pick.
I heard you guys have a whole conversation about. I can't even say it. I'll get in trouble. Yes.
Right.
Muskets.
Well,
On
because
the
they
way
do
in.
involve balls and
make sure you go
a
full
half
cock.
cock or-
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That was gun. Those were gun facts. That was not. I don't know where your mind is.
Your mind's with Vivid Entertainment.
I'm thinking there's a job there, and it's
All right.
got sex in the title. I'm good.
Jackie, we hear these kind of stories all the time. Your thoughts?
Yes.
ER charges man $9,000 to bandage his finger.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Last August, he accidentally cut his finger with the claw end of a hammer. Ow.
Ouch.
He says he waited a few days, as men do, for it to heal.
Yeah, that's what you do.
But the cut didn't seem to be closing. So he went to the Bayonne Medical Center emergency room to ask whether he should get stitches. The nurse practitioner determined no stitches were necessary, no x-ray either.
We're just going to amputate the finger.
Yes, he got an $8,200 emergency room visit bill. Apparently the Bayonne Medical Center and United Healthcare have been in an ongoing dispute, and consumers are the ones paying the ultimate price. I mean, that.
What did he get for $9,000? A Hello Kitty Band-Aid?
A bandage.
That was a $9,000 Band-Aid.
Right. But this is what happens where the consumers get socked when there's like, and I don't even know obviously all the details of the medical center and United Healthcare and what the dispute is, but it just seems like another one of those things people are going to go, see what happened with Obamacare?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a problem long before. When I was working on healthcare reform, I would get calls all the time from people who were telling me about their absurd medical bills. And I've seen people put them online, right? They put their medical bills up, and people talk about how absurd it is, and then they go
$1,000 for a single syringe.
Right, then they go about their daily lives, and then they complain again about the Affordable Care Act and forget that it was the insurance company or the hospital that overbilled. But I tell the story all the time as a great example is this woman who called me once and said that she got charged $100 for a cloth robe, like a cloth gown.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, the one I wore was paper and disposable. And they said, no. It's for the doctor's gown. He has to wear a certain gown when he does surgery, and you have to pay for that.
Oh, boy. Really?
Yeah.
We have to be costumers now too, on top of. Oh, by the way, we are talking about Ebola earlier, Chris. We somehow got into leprosy, which was I don't remember why.
Yes.
Chris in Yankton says, Steph and Chris, since we're going lowbrow, and leprosy came up on the show. Here's a couple old dusty leprosy jokes from grad school.
No.
Question: what did the leper ship captain say? All hands on deck. Okay.
Oh.
Why did they stop the leper hockey game? There was a face-off in the corner. From here, it's only a short step down to Helen Keller jokes, All right, Chris, thank you for that. Don't do the one about she answered the iron and mother rearranged the furniture. I got him. Okay, I got it. Let's just not even go there, Jackie.
I think you just went there.
How did she burn her fingers?
How?
She tried to read the waffle iron.
All right, stop it.
What?
Kevin in Milwaukee.
Can I leave and come back?
I sadly shake my head in disappointment. Hello, Kevin in Milwaukee.
Hey, Steph.
Hi. Hello.
Can I first of all say that I want to be the official gay plumbing consultant to the Stephanie Miller Show?
Ooh.
Well, hello.
My faucet has a leak. That is convenient.
Dispatch men.
Better be your actual. Why can't Emmy fix it? That's her domain.
And your sink's not in Milwaukee.
Yeah. And now that I see you on Free Speech TV, I love to see your box and you push all the buttons. It's great.
Well, wow. Thank
and
you.
And you're the gay plumber.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
have a question.
He knows certain plumbing, but not mine. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Jackie, my employer, I recently switched jobs 8 months ago. My employer doesn't have a group plan. We have 5 employees, and what he does is gives me a stipend every month. I'll just say it's $300, and then I pitch in another $100, and I went out and bought a plan off the exchange through an insurance company. And our accountant says he will no longer be able to do that, and my boss is kind of lost. He doesn't know what he should do because the accountant said he has to offer a plan for everybody.
There's no mandate on small employers.
Yeah.
Small employers, anyone with fewer than 50 employers actually doesn't have to offer health insurance.
Right.
And you can get a subsidy if you do, if you're a small employer.
So you would be a spectacularly good person if you did offer health insurance anyway, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
And you
seem to
didn't
make
have
sense
to?
that they couldn't offer you premium help. I mean,
I'm just trying to guilt you, Chris. I was looking right at you. Because I'm talking, of course, about
Stephanie Miller.
Right.
All right. And mostly Travis, who was on thin ice, because the last person in that job, we didn't have to give her health insurance. She was on her husband's. I'm not saying thin ice like he'll actually fall through
He could, and then he'd have health
and need
insurance.
health care.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, everybody's on thin
Well, it
ice around here.
gets a little stuffy in the closet that you keep him in, so
Yeah.
he could contract pertussis.
There's probably asbestos in there, so this probably all evens out.
You were saying that there's a pertussis increase because of people not vaccinating their children.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thanks, Jenny McCarthy.
I mean, I haven't, hung out with small children lately, but I could see where that could be a...
Marina in Oregon with the question for Jackie. Hey, Marina.
Hi, I'm glad you got to my call.
Yes.
It's just one of those examples of insurance getting worse every day in every way. Colonoscopies are always held up as the example of the kind of preventive care that is supposed to be covered 100% with no copay. So I took my gold plan that I bought on the exchange for a lot of money, went and got a colonoscopy, and got presented with a bill for 100% of the retail cost of the colonoscopy. They said that the doctor was not in their plan. They had access to my insurance information for a month before this happened. They're trying to soak me. They're saying, oh, well, maybe we can give you a reduced rate since you don't have insurance. But the thing is, I'm paying $1,000 a month for insurance, and this was supposed to be covered.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big problem with the insurance companies and the providers as well. I think there's been a lot of confusion about who's in a plan and who isn't, and you have to really not only check online and see, but then also double check with your provider to make sure that the provider that's doing the procedure or the facility where the procedure is being done is fully covered by your plan.
This is the thing.
And yes, they should have checked beforehand and told you.
Referral for that doctor. It was the only hospital in town. I live in an isolated area where there were a very limited number of plans available.
Mm-hmm.
And this doctor still advertises on the web that he accepts my plan by name.
See, but that doesn't. I mean, I don't know what you do about that, Jack, but that seems like she has legal grounds.
You do,
if that's true.
yeah. And that's an insurance commissioner type of thing. I don't know what the procedure is in Oregon, but I think Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know because it's state by state, but there are consumer protections in place, and I would certainly either reach out to a local consumer rights organization that deals with something like this, or I would find out if there's an insurance commissioner who deals with something like this. I would say definitely don't pay that bill. I would call the insurance company. I would continue to stay on it. If it's advertised that he is on that website, or if the facility is advertised as being in network.
And what she said that he had that information for a month. Yeah,
I would certainly stay on this because what they're hoping is that you'll give up and pay. They'll make it difficult for you and you'll give up and pay. But, I mean, this is why people turn around and say, we should be able to buy health insurance across state lines. The reason why you don't is because consumer protections in this country are state-based. Mm-hmm. So, if she had a problem in Oregon and this was some sort of plan that was set up in Delaware because that's, where they have loose credit card restrictions and that's what insurance companies would do, she wouldn't have any recourse. Likely wouldn't have any recourse. Right. So I would say, and it's a hassle, but there's a lot of things in our life that are hassles. Yeah. And when it comes to your health and the amount of money that we're being paid, we're being required to pay to health insurance companies, fight it. Right. Be diligent about this. Go out and fight it. If you don't have the time, make the time for it.
Listen, don't I know? You know why, Chris? Because here at the Stephanie Miller Show, we pay 100% of your health care, don't we? Not even a percent. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring this back to
Stephanie Miller.
I'm just saying, there are some amazing bosses, right? And then some.
Amazing.
An insurance company. And some, it's not so good.
No, but she has a right to do that. I mean, I've heard of that before, is that you go to a facility, you think it's covered, and they're like, oh, yeah, but the doctor doctor wasn't covered.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
no, but
maybe you should have looked at my insurance and told me that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's true. You know, for most of us that pay health insurance premiums, you know, that to me, it seems like in particular, if he advertised that is really that she's got some grounds there. All right.
What do you call a leper in a hot tub?
What, Chris?
Chowder.
So disappointed.
This is my disappointed face.
What?
We were on such a good roll and keeping it.
Why did the hooker leave the leper colony?
Why?
Business was dropping off.
Is anybody these days...
These are tweets.
This is how we deal with the dark Ebola. You know, we need dark humor to combat Ebola fears.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I don't feel less afraid.
Oh,
come on, a little bit. 45 minutes after the hour, right back to the remaining moments. Jackie Schechter on the Stephanie Miller Show. Oh, you listeners are highly inappropriate. Just stop it. Who sent us that?
Myron.
It's a picture of a woman holding a bulldog.
No, it's Helen Keller.
Right.
Holding a bulldog, and the caption says Helen Keller and her beloved cat Mittens.
Somebody emailed me, what did the leper say to the hooker? Keep the tip. Okay. That's Leaf and Madison. All right, people, listen. I know we're all dealing with our Ebola fears. Everybody, let's okay, and let's see here. Robbie tweets, you literally asked Chris to stick his finger in your dog's ass today. The least you could do is kick in on the health care.
Yeah.
What? No, I asked him, do you know how to express a dog's anal glands? Because Fred is acting weird. And he's like humping the air, and so I think...
Why would you ask Chris to do that?
Because he's here.
I was going to ask him if he knew how to help me put air in my front tire, because I have a low tire warning. I think that's a little more appealing than putting your finger in the dog's butt. Pick one. Help me with the tire or express the anal glands.
Do something, because otherwise boys are just dumb.
Useless.
What are they for?
Can't you
Nathan? I was supposed to... Am I wearing my garish outdoor bike shirt? Yes, because it's outdoor bike day. Both of my notoriously unreliable men in my life have canceled on me. Him and the other one.
But you look so fashionable.
Boys are dumb.
Don't tell her she looks fashionable.
She doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
I know.
That was with a drip of sarcasm.
Okay.
Sorry.
1-800-STEP-12, the phone number.
I invited you to come indoor spinning with me. You could still wear your outfit.
No, then I look like a dork. No one wears that for indoor. Okay.
Oh, and you don't look like a dork now.
No, because I'm outdoor biking. There's different
You're
rules.
not indoor biking right now.
There's different
you look
rules.
dumb on the TV.
And stop tweeting me as if Helen Keller fell in a forest, would she make a sound? Stop it. It's not... How did we get here? This is what happens when you start with leprosy jokes. Okay. One of the things...
Sorry, I was blinded by your shirt for a moment.
Yeah.
Speaking of dumb,
and
not only does Florida have Rick Scott and resistance to Obamacare, they have voter ID. Did you see this?
Oh, are you okay? You need Heimlich?
She has pertussis now.
Yeah. Great.
I have pre-Ebola, like Jackie.
We don't have pre-Ebola. Thank you for ruining what little dating life I have anyway.
I don't even think
After that outfit today, things are going to pick up, I can tell. All right, voter ID laws back in the news. I just brought this. Somebody did a comprehensive investigation. So over 1 billion votes cast in the elections 2002-2014. Guess how many? 31 credible incidents of voter impersonation. Requirements to show ID at the polls are designed for pretty much one thing: people showing up at the polls pretending to be somebody else in order to cast one incremental fake ballot. As I've always said over and over, this just doesn't happen.
Well, here's the best part. We can't get people to vote in this country.
Right.
Right? I mean, people who are registered to vote don't vote. Our voting turnout percentages are embarrassingly low.
You have to be able to read upside down. Not a lot of people can do that either.
Who's going to the polls in their free time and pretending to be somebody else because they want to vote so badly?
Hello, I'm here to vote, and I am Dr. Flangenharn. My name is... I'm sorry, could you turn that form around so that I could better impersonate that voter?
Dr. Furrier, it's hard.
Anyway, the guy that wrote this, Washington Post, I've been tracking allegations of fraud for years now, including the fraud ID laws are designed to stop. In 2008, when the Supreme Court weighed in over voter ID, I looked at every single allegation put before the court. Since then, I've been following reports whenever they crop up. So far, I found about 31 different incidents, some of which involve multiple ballots since 2000, anywhere in the country. And to put it in perspective, that's 1 billion ballots that were cast in that period. And some of these 31 incidents have been thoroughly investigated, including some prosecutions, but many of them have not. Based on how other claims have turned out, I bet some of the 31 will end up debunked. A problem with matching people from one big computer list to another, a data entry error, confusion between two different people with the same name, someone signing in on the wrong line of a poll book.
Did I tell you what happened when I went to the polls and the guy said to me, I gave him my name, and he said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure."
You're like,
what?
Yeah, he asked me how I spelled my last name.
Yes,
and I
am.
And he's like, "Are you sure?" Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
And then I told him where I lived, and he said, "That's a nice neighborhood." And I said, "Well, this is a nice area. We all live in nice."
Yeah. You know, the only place I am in favor of ID when they card old ladies like me. Just when you get a pity carding. I got a pity carding when I went to Washington last weekend at the airport bar.
At the airport?
At the airport bar, they asked me for ID.
Oh.
And I said, "Aw, is that just a pity thing for women over 50? You just do that? Is that like a pity for women over 50?
And what'd they say?
It was a pity carding. No, they try to keep a game face on. No, ma'am.
We have to card everybody.
No. You look that young, ma'am. Yes, you do. Stop calling me ma'am, then.
Ma'am.
We do it for everyone, Grandma. What?
Look, Granny. All right. Let's go to Dan in Tennessee. You're on with Jackie. Hey, Dan.
Hello, Steph, baby doll face.
Yes, hello, Angel Muffin.
Gosh, I didn't know I was going to have a point to make when you, other than thanking your show for its existence. But
thank you.
I hear,
and thank you for your existence as a carbon-based life form. I appreciate it.
Well, I wanted to be the official 4-time college dropout of the Stephanie Miller Show.
That takes some doing.
Nicely done, sir.
3-time poli-sci, 1-time accounting. I figured I wasn't smart enough to be a lawyer, but figured nor was I dishonest enough. So,
well, you know what? Some people take longer than others to figure out the color of their parachute.
You're on the Sarah Palin track.
Yeah, did the parachute thing 3 times. Third time didn't like the 2 parachutes coming out at the same time. But.
Well, it's America. You can get your own channel, like Sarah Palin. Have you checked out Sarah Palin channel
TV.
Something?
Which is now, I will say this on the air, now being run by the man who let me go from CNN.
Right? I think says everything that needs to be said.
Yeah.
What is it? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get it wrong. Sarah Palin I think it is. It's
you get the privilege of paying $100 a year to listen to her spout the same stuff.
Right. Oh no, there's a camera in every room in her house, and she can turn on the switch whenever she has
something to say.
A stray thought. And all of them are good. It's hard to pick one that's more cogent than the next. Okay, let's go to Susan in Cincinnati. You're on with Jackie. Hi, Suze.
Hi. I'm just calling because I do the HR in our small office. There's only 8 of us, including the owner. We've always had a group plan that we've paid for. At one time, it paid 100% of whatever the health care cost is.
Right.
And, of course, everything's going up constantly.
Yeah.
And every single year, even before the Affordable Care Act, it went up 27%. So I really get tired of listening to people say because of the Affordable Care Act, my insurance has gone up.
Right.
Well, ours went up 27%, or we changed the deductible, or now we're up to a $5,000 deductible because we can't afford $12,000 a month.
Right.
Have you taken a look at the benefits that you get for having a group plan as a small business?
I think that the agent we have has done part of that, but we're going to be having to look at it more again this year because we were told that we have to go through the exchange.
When they offer the small group plan, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What have we learned? That despite healthcare costs going up and people taking huge pay cuts, for instance, some employers still pay 100% of their employees' health insurance, even though they could. I'm just saying Chris, are you sure you can't express my dog's anal glands?
I'm not going to express your dog. I'm not going to stick my finger in your dog's ass.
We love you, Jackie. How can we follow you?
You can,
and your bra.
You can come to my house. At Jackie Schechner on Twitter and JackieSchechner.com.
See you tomorrow on the Stephanie Miller Show.